The world of hip hop and R&B has always been a space where drama, creativity, and power intersect. It's not just about the music, it's about legacy, influence, and who gets to tell the story. Recently, that story took a dramatic turn when Young Miami of City Girls fame and none other than Diddy himself clapped back at Jaguar Wright, a name that's been making waves for years with her bold claims about the industry's inner workings. The situation quickly went viral, sparking debates, conspiracy theories, and even questions about Beyoncé and Jay Z's possible involvement. But how did we get here? And more importantly, what does it all mean for the future of hip-hop? Jaguar Wright, known for her soulful voice and unfiltered personality, has long been a controversial figure in music circles. Over the years, she's made explosive allegations about manipulation, control, and corruption within the industry, claims that many dismissed as paranoia or over-the-top speculation. But now, with Young Miami and Diddy directly responding to her, those whispers have turned into full-blown conversations. Fans are dissecting every word, trying to uncover whether there's truth behind Wright's statements or if this is just another round of celebrity beef fueled by ego and old grudges. Young Miami, whose real name is Karesha Brownlee, is no stranger to controversy. Rising to fame through her unapologetic lyrics and fearless persona, she's built a brand around authenticity and resilience. When she took to social media to call out Jaguar Wright, fans knew something serious was brewing. Her comments were sharp, direct, and laced with a sense of urgency, as if she wasn't just defending herself but also protecting someone else. Then came Diddy, a titan of the music industry, stepping into the fray like a heavyweight ready to throw down. His response was classic Diddy, confident, cryptic, and dripping with authority. He didn't just deny Wright's accusations, he challenged her credibility and reminded everyone of his place in the game. But why would two high-profile artists feel the need to respond so strongly to Jaguar Wright? That's the question on everyone's mind. Some believe it's because her claims hit too close to home, potentially implicating powerful figures in the industry, including Beyoncé and Jay Z. Now, before you roll your eyes and dismiss this as just another conspiracy theory, consider the context. Beyoncé and Jay Z are not only two of the most successful musicians in history, they're also symbols of Black excellence, entrepreneurship, and cultural influence. Their empire spans music, fashion, sports, and media. They've built an image of love, unity, and empowerment, which makes any suggestion of wrongdoing seem almost unthinkable. Yet rumors have swirled for years about their relationships with other artists, particularly those who have spoken out against industry elites. So when Young Miami and Diddy threw shade at Jaguar Wright, some fans couldn't help but connect the dots. Could this be a case of powerful players silencing someone who knows too much? Or is it simply a misunderstanding blown out of proportion? The internet, of course, has gone wild with speculation. Memes, TikTok breakdowns, and Twitter threads have flooded timelines, each offering a different interpretation of the events. Some argue that Young Miami and Diddy's responses were defensive, suggesting they felt threatened by Wright's words. Others insist it's just a case of artists protecting their legacies from baseless attacks. What's undeniable is that this moment has reignited discussions about power dynamics in the music industry. Who really controls the narrative? How much influence do major labels and moguls still hold over artists today? And perhaps most importantly, how do we separate fact from fiction in an era where misinformation spreads faster than truth? The answers aren't simple, and the lines between reality and rumor have never been blurrier. Looking deeper into the history of these artists adds another layer of complexity. Diddy, born Sean Combs, has had a decades-long career marked by both brilliance and controversy. From Bad Boy Records to his various business ventures, he's built a reputation as a visionary, but also as someone who doesn't shy away from confrontation. Young Miami, meanwhile, represents a new generation of female rappers who are redefining what it means to be in control of your own image and success. Together, their voices carry weight, and when they speak, people listen.
Jaguar Wright, for her part, has always positioned herself as an outsider, willing to speak uncomfortable truths. Whether or not those truths hold up under scrutiny is another matter entirely. But her willingness to challenge the status quo has earned her both admiration and skepticism. In an industry where silence often equals survival, speaking out can come at a cost. And now, with two heavyweights going after her, it's clear that the stakes are higher than ever. As for Beyoncé and Jay Z, their names keep coming up in connection to this saga, though neither has publicly addressed the situation. That silence speaks volumes. In a world where celebrities usually weigh in on everything from politics to pop culture, the absence of a statement can be just as telling as one. It leaves room for speculation, for doubt, and for the kind of narratives that thrive in the shadows of uncertainty. At its core, this clash isn't just about individuals. It's about the broader tensions that exist within hip-hop and R&B culture. It's about generational divides, artistic freedom, and the eternal struggle between independence and institutional power. It's also about how we consume celebrity drama in the digital age, where every comment, post, and reaction can become fuel for the fire. Ultimately, what we're witnessing is a collision of past and present, of legacy and rebellion, of truth and perception. Young Miami and Diddy may have thrown the first punches, but the fight is far from over. As fans continue to dissect every angle, one thing remains certain. The story isn't just about who said what. It's about who gets to control the narrative in an industry built on spectacle, secrets, and survival. And in that arena, the loudest voices don't always tell the whole story. To understand the depth of this conflict, it's important to examine the roots of Jaguar Wright's rise in the music industry. Emerging in the early 2000s, Wright quickly gained attention not only for her vocal prowess, but also for her outspoken nature. She was signed to MCA Records and released her debut album Denials, Delusions and Decisions in 2001, followed by presenting Jaguar Wright in 2005. Though critically acclaimed, her work never achieved mainstream commercial success. Many speculate that her refusal to conform to industry expectations played a role in her limited reach. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Wright wasn't afraid to push back against record label executives, producers, or even fellow artists, often calling out hypocrisy and exploitation in interviews and public appearances. Over time, her critiques became sharper and more pointed, especially regarding the treatment of artists within the system. She spoke openly about how major labels manipulated careers, controlled narratives, and silenced dissenting voices. These views earned her both praise from independent artists and suspicion from those embedded within the mainstream machine. Some saw her as a truth-teller, while others viewed her as a disgruntled insider looking to stir the pot. Regardless of perspective, her commentary resonated with a growing number of fans who believed that the music industry operated under a veil of secrecy and control. Fast forward to recent years, and Jaguar Wright's online presence has only intensified. Through social media platforms, particularly Twitter and Instagram, she has continued to voice concerns about the inner workings of the entertainment world. Her posts often include cryptic messages, references to unnamed figures, and allegations that suggest a larger conspiracy involving some of the biggest names in music. While many dismiss these claims as speculative or sensationalist, others see them as a necessary reckoning with an industry that has historically favored those in positions of power. This brings us to the heart of the current controversy. In a series of posts that quickly went viral, Wright hinted at knowing things about certain high-profile artists that could shake the foundations of the industry. Without naming names, she suggested that there were hidden forces at play, figures who dictated who rises to fame and who fades into obscurity. The implications were clear. There are gatekeepers in hip-hop and R&B who decide who gets opportunities and who doesn't, often behind closed doors and without transparency. When Young Miami responded, it was with a level of intensity that suggested personal stakes. "You ain't know nobody," she fired off in a now-viral clip, referring to Wright's supposed connections. "Stop acting like you got info." Her tone was aggressive, almost defensive, indicating that she felt personally targeted. Meanwhile, Diddy's response was more measured but no less impactful. In a short video message, he subtly mocked Wright's claims, suggesting that her time in the spotlight had passed and that her attempts to remain relevant were misguided. "Some people just want attention," he said, shaking his head. "That's all." The backlash was immediate. Fans took to social media to dissect the exchange, questioning whether Young Miami and Diddy were reacting out of genuine concern or if they were attempting to suppress information that could damage reputations. Some argued that Wright's allegations, regardless of how vague, deserved scrutiny. Others believed that Young Miami and Diddy were well within their rights to defend themselves against baseless accusations. The debate quickly escalated, with hashtags like Free Jaguar Wright and Protect the Legacy trending on Twitter. One of the most intriguing aspects of this feud is the potential link to Beyoncé and Jay Z. For years, rumors have circulated about the extent of their influence in the music industry. Both artists have been open about their desire to uplift Black talent and create opportunities for emerging voices. Yet critics argue that their power extends beyond mentorship into areas of control and exclusion. Questions have been raised about whether certain artists receive preferential treatment due to their affiliations with Beyoncé and Jay Z's respective camps, Beyoncé's Parkwood Entertainment and Jay Z's Roc Nation. These suspicions have been fueled by instances where lesser-known artists claim to have been sidelined or ignored, despite having strong creative credentials. Some point to the way Beyoncé and Jay Z have curated their public images as flawless icons of Black excellence, suggesting that any deviation from that narrative is swiftly corrected. This idea that the couple maintains a carefully constructed illusion of perfection has led some to believe that anyone threatening to expose cracks in that foundation faces swift retaliation. It's worth noting that neither Beyoncé nor Jay Z has publicly commented on the situation involving Young Miami, Diddy, and Jaguar Wright. However, their absence from the conversation has only added fuel to the fire. Supporters of the couple argue that their silence should be respected, pointing out that they rarely engage in public feuds unless absolutely necessary. Detractors, on the other hand, see their lack of response as indicative of a broader pattern, one in which powerful figures avoid accountability by remaining above the fray. In the midst of all this, it's essential to consider the broader implications for hip-hop and R&B culture. The genre has always been a battleground for authenticity versus commercialization, individual expression versus industry demands. Artists like Young Miami represent a new wave, unfiltered, unapologetic, and determined to carve their own paths. Figures like Diddy, meanwhile, symbolize the old guard, having navigated the industry's complexities for decades and understanding the delicate balance between independence and collaboration. Jaguar Wright, in contrast, occupies a unique space. She is neither fully aligned with the mainstream nor entirely embraced by the underground. Instead, she exists in a liminal zone, critiquing the very system that once sought to define her. Her willingness to speak out, even when met with resistance, positions her as a disruptor, someone who challenges the status quo rather than reinforcing it. As the conversation continues to evolve, one thing remains clear: the battle for control over the narrative in hip-hop and R&B is far from over. Whether Young Miami and Diddy's responses were justified or overblown, their actions have sparked a wider discussion about power, truth, and the responsibility of artists to speak out. In an era where social media allows for instant reactions and global visibility, the line between personal opinion and collective discourse becomes increasingly blurred. For fans, the takeaway is complex. On one hand, there's a desire to protect beloved artists from unfair criticism and false accusations. On the other, there's a growing demand for transparency and accountability within the industry. The tension between these two perspectives reflects a broader cultural shift, one where audiences are no longer passive consumers, but active participants in shaping the stories they follow. Ultimately, the Young Miami Diddy Jaguar Wright saga serves as a microcosm of the ongoing struggles within hip-hop and R&B. It highlights the enduring influence of legacy figures, the rising power of independent voices, and the persistent presence of unseen forces that shape careers and destinies. Whether Beyoncé and Jay Z are involved or not, the mere suggestion of their influence underscores the immense weight their names carry in the industry. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: this is not the last time we'll see such high-profile clashes over truth, power, and legacy. The music industry thrives on drama, but beneath the surface lies a deeper conversation about autonomy, integrity, and the right to tell one's own story. And in that story, every voice, whether loud or quiet, celebrated or overlooked, plays a role in shaping the future of hip-hop and R&B.